Hi, I'm Gavin Hood, director of Wolverine, and this scene is really very short, but there was a time when young Storm was going to be present in the movie. Of course, the flaw in that was that Halle Berry as Storm in the other movies never recognizes Logan as someone she's seen before, and so the argument was that just nobody would buy that this young Storm wouldn't remember this man as he walked away, and no reference is ever made to it in any of the other movies, and so it was cut from this movie. But in a moment, you will see young Storm appear and bring down the storm and the rain and the lightning after the tragic loss of the people of her village.
Jimmy!
And there comes the storm. So we shot the scene both ways, and in the end decided it was better that it was done without Storm. Hi, I'm Gavin Hood, the director of Wolverine. This is another scene that was cut ultimately from the movie. This used to come right after the death of General Munson at the hands of Stryker, and Creed was on the tail of Logan and had shown up at the boxing gym of Wraiths and was getting information out of Blob as to where his brother was. But in the end, we just didn't need it. The plot made total sense without it. Hi, I'm Gavin Hood, the director of Wolverine. We're going to have a look at a scene that almost made it into the movie and then wasn't in the movie and then almost was. And I'll leave it to you guys to decide what you feel, because there's merit to having the scene in and there's merit to having the scene not in the movie. What you're watching right now is exactly what was in the movie, but coming up, once Logan finds out that he's been betrayed by Kayla, we shot a version where he's so devastated that he agrees to have his memory erased by Stryker. And this idea of memory always appealed to me in the sense that without our memories, who are we? You're talking about a superhero who essentially can't die. But the only way he can escape the pain of his life is not by suicide, but by erasing his memory. And I think there are times in our lives when many of us wish there were certain memories we could perhaps erase, get rid of, never have had imprinted on our psyche, if you like. And yet without those memories, we would not be quite who we are, because it's our memories and what has happened to us that defines who we are. So here Logan finds out that his final reason for living, which is to avenge the death of his loved one, has been a sham and no longer exists, because here she is alive and turns out she's betrayed him, or at least that's the way he sees it at this point, because he obviously knows nothing about why she's done this. So he finds out that her death was faked, and this sense of betrayal is overwhelming, and he has to decide what he will do. And there are various options. You can imagine if he was sitting writing the script or sitting in the edit room saying, what do we do with this discovery? Does he leap up and run both Kayla and Stryker through with his claws? Does he ask why? Does he get up and leave? But for a moment, I think he's just in this incredible state of shock as he tries to get to grips with what it is that has actually happened. And indeed, the audience, I think for the most part, nobody has expected this moment. At least nobody ever said they'd expected this moment. So all of us are at this moment going, what on earth has happened? We've all thought that Kayla is dead, and now we discover she's betrayed him. I always liked that line, "It was real for me."
It was never real.
In the version in the film, the line "It was never real, my friend" was a Stryker line, and in this version, we have Kayla say it. And now this is where this begins to differ from what was in the film.
I don't want to terminate you, Logan.
Stryker says
Frankly,
there's another way to deal with this. Essentially, he's saying to him that I can take away the bad memories.
all this.
And from a thematic point of view, I was very sad to see the scene go because, as I say,
Knowing that the woman
it's
you love
something that I think
doesn't care about you.
many of us have either consciously or perhaps unconsciously, but we have memories that we would prefer perhaps not to have. And yet, as I say, without those memories, we wouldn't be what we are. And maybe we'd prefer not to be what we are in this moment. But it's a fairly profound thing that we can never really escape our past and the things that we remember. And yet here, in a sort of mythic way, a character is presented with an option of having that memory wiped. And indeed, in the 50s, there were experiments done in the States on an attempt to erase memory. Really quite horrific experiments where subjects were subjected to electroshock therapy in an attempt to wipe the slate clean, wipe the memory clean, so that so-called disturbed patients might begin with a blank slate. A lovely theory, I guess, but one that ultimately turned out to be more devastating because the electroshock therapy left patients in a much worse state than they were before they started the therapy. But in a way, it's the idea of if I could only rid myself of painful memories, I would be able to start again, fresh. And that's really what Stryker offers. And the problem was that some people, many people I guess, felt that, come on, why would Logan ever agree to this moment that you're seeing now at the hands of the man who has manipulated him so badly? And the only answer we were ever able to come up with, he just doesn't give a damn. He has reached such a low point that it's like, do with me what you will. Do whatever you like. But I don't want to live as I am. I don't want to live with this betrayal, which in a human way might be a suicidal thought. But given that he can't die, this is his only option in terms of wanting to completely end it. Now, this moment with Victor is very special to me. Will he remember me?
Colonel,
I was really sad to see that go because in the movie he just says, you let him go, we can't let him go. But here it's something much more profound in the sense that his real need suddenly is not to be alone himself, to be remembered. Because
We just need a little more time to analyze.
whether we believe in a God or not, the one thing that makes us immortal, perhaps only for a short period of time, is us remaining alive in the memories of others, of those we leave behind. And if no one remembers us, if no loved one remembers us, even family that we may have argued with, then we are truly alone. And there's something about Victor saying, will he remember me? I want to know if he'll remember me, even though he's hated his brother. That is very profound. Anyway, the scene didn't stay, but I leave it with you as an option for you to think about.
he's lying. We have to stop this.